Hey guys, I'm back with another video, and this video is actually a late upload. So I participated in the Tome, Topple and the Summerween reading challenges. And since they were back to back, I thought I would do a wrap up with both of those challenges, with the books I did for both of those challenges. Okay, so for the Tome Topple, I decided to read the second book in the trilogy, Bloodmark, which Oathbound is coming out March 4th. And no, this is not a sponsored video, and yes, I cannot wait. So this book is, I really think I should have did a more detailed I don't know, vlog on this book, because there was just so much. There was so much. I connected with this reader so much, not just on the level of being Black and learning something new, and being like, I don't know, surrounded by people that you don't really know, that you're trying to learn how to, you know, be around in the college world. And then for her to find out that she has this magical talent, I know that's like a whole nother like world to be in. Luckily for her, she wasn't the first with that, because her mom was, and her grandmother before her, but she is the first of her magical talent. So that was one of the things I connected with her on. But another thing I connected with her on is being Black and liking or wanting to be with someone of another race. That always has its own set of drama, and it's mostly with the women of the other race that you, of the person that you like. So that was something I connected well with. And this is a teenager, so that was like crazy, but that was something I connected well with. Another thing that I connected with was the ability for teenagers just to, I won't say be stupid, but they just make some of the most, as an adult, I can say dumbest decisions, because now I can see on the other side of it. But as a teenager, you don't see on the other side of it, and you're just like in the moment trying to make the best adult decisions that you could make as a teenager. And it was cringe kind of to read, but at the same time it was like, but she's a teenager, she's supposed to make dumb choices, she's supposed to make dumb choices that she thinks is smart in order to protect the people that she loves. You know, she's making what she believes is the right choice. So there was that. There, like, I wrote so many notes. Oh, one thing that I read in this book that I was like, I don't like it when authors write this, but I do appreciate in this book. Oh my gosh.
Y'all miss me? Yeah, I ain't been in a video in a minute.
In a hot minute.
In a hot minute. I just wanted to say hi. I'm gonna sit back down. What's the way?
Oh my gosh. I'm teaching a camp at Maryville University, a coding camp, and he is attending the coding camp, but with a different teacher. So I get a break from him, except for now while we're waiting for my other son to get finished with his portion of camp all the way over there. But neither here nor there. Anyway, one thing that I don't like, that when authors write young adult or like teenage young adult literature, when they are too detailed in the romance part. And I think that is because me as an adult, like, you know that adults are going to read the book, and me as an adult, I don't want to read about teenagers like heart racing and kissing each other or any other details that come thereafter. But what I appreciate with this author is that it never went further than the heart racing and the flirting back and forth. That I appreciate. There was no other detail than that. But at one point when she writes, it almost seems as if it was going to go a little bit further, and I won't tell you what scene it is because I don't want to ruin it for the actual teenagers out there that are reading this book and enjoy that sort of thing in a book. It was just too close for comfort. But I do appreciate that the author never went beyond that. And I guess it also bothers me too because this is an author that is an adult writing young teenager, young adult books instead of it being a teenager writing the books. Now, if it was a teenager writing the books, yes, as an adult, I would still feel a little cringy reading it, but it's more understandable because it is a teenager writing the book. So I don't know. That's just something that I don't like that adult authors do for their YA and teenage, high school, middle grade books. But like I said, I appreciate that this author didn't go beyond the flirting, although it was still kind of cringy to read. Another aspect of this book that I very much so appreciated was the historical context, the family history on both sides. And the reason why I appreciate that is because most Black Americans, at least in my experience, only know their ancestry back from slavery. And while that is a very obvious point of why we would know that, it just seems like there is no want to go beyond that. Or I guess because I've read Roots like 4 times, I'm like, why haven't we gone beyond that? Or why haven't we started to mold our history into something to where we're not necessarily separate from slavery and what happened then, but that we can break those chains and move forward, that those the generational trauma, and move forward. And that is something I appreciated in this book, because while our main character, whose name right now escapes me, Bree, while Bree senses the generational trauma as she's going back and trying to figure out how to use her magic, and as she's gaining more history, she is also very much so trying to break a generational trauma that can be handed down from her parents. I think it was her starting with her mom, but anyway, as she goes back to figure out her history, everyone tells her, we ran so you wouldn't have to. Except for the further back you go, they're still more emotionally in the time that they were, and they're just like, no, run. But the closer you get to Bree's time, they're like, we ran so you wouldn't have to. We were building you up to where you wouldn't have to run, that you could face this thing head on. But that's also a type of pressure that is in the Black community that we put on our children, and I don't think we realize that we do it. Like if you know you have a super smart child within your household that you're putting a lot of pressure on them to go to school and make something of themselves, and you have such high hopes for them that it becomes this pressure of expectation, and that when they don't meet it, they themselves feel unworthy of like your love at some point. And I feel like Bree went through all of that in this, and the author did a really good job of bringing that to light and making it relational regardless of your age. And I say regardless of your age, I'm saying really when you hit that point in your life where you start to feel that pressure. This book is written for obviously high school type of teenagers and higher, but I don't want us to miss the fact that we also do this to our elementary school students. Like when they are very observant of people around them, of the adults around them, including their parents, so they can start to feel some of that pressure that we put on them, even though we don't voice it. But yeah, this book had me in tears because it was so relational with a lot of the things that she went through. The only thing that I don't like myself for is that some of these post-it notes I put in here, I didn't write anything on them. So I'm just like, what did I even put that? What was it so important? So yeah, but I wrote all kind of notes throughout this. Oh, I did make a connection between this book and the Tristan Strong books. And if you have not read those, you definitely should go and read those. There's 3 in that trilogy as well. It says, what did it say? Oh, so one of the magical components that they learned with creating barriers of safe space so that way like the evil people don't see them is that there's these glass bottles that hang from trees where they like essentially trap some bad magic in there to where it's not allowed onto the land, and they do that around the area, I guess, that they don't want the bad magic to come into, that they can protect with their good magic along with like their ancestors using the magic. That part too was crazy because the ancestors in old magic is like, you as the new magician or person that can pull that magic, your magic comes from the ancestors, so you use the ancestors, you kind of drain them of their power while you're still on earth, right? But in this concept and in the Tristan Strong books, you're not borrowing magic from them, they're still using their magic even though they're on the other side, until whenever they decide they don't want to use it anymore, and then they can go, where they are on beyond. But it was the same concept was used in the Tristan Strong books, which I believe is actually a very prominent thing in New Orleans with people who use magic and believe in magic, because it is in TV shows such as The Originals and Vampire Diaries when they go take a trip to New Orleans. But so that's probably like New Orleans Black, what do they call, Creole type of ancestry, because I don't want to say it's religion for them, but it could be. Magic could be seen as a religion. I don't know. I'm not sure. I've only done like this much research on it. I just kind of seen it in movies and read it in books and remember it from when I'm reading it then. But I've never done the history on magic, so there's that. So yes, I read this for Tome Topple, and I did read it in a week, so I could have read another book for Tome Topple, but the problem I had was that the first week of Tome Topple, I was still teaching a coding camp, a different coding camp, not this one, or I would say STEM camp. I was teaching a STEM camp, and part of my STEM camp had to do with coding, but I was teaching a STEM camp, and I was still coming home every day just tired, super tired, so I didn't read anything that week. What I did instead that week was just go through the books and eliminate the books that I realistically could not read during that time. And this was the only one that I came out with because I should have read it already earlier in the year for February, as part of my book club that I host on my Facebook page. This was our February read, and I had not gotten to it, and it's 500 pages, so I just thought I'd do it for my Tome Topple challenge. And I'm glad that I did, because now I'm ready for Oathbound to come out. All right, and Summerween was the other challenge that I participated in. And Summerween was immediately following Tome Topple. It started on July 5th. I read just one book because I knew that I was not going to have time with the way my schedule was with all the other activities that I had, birthday parties, church events, and just trying to sleep in, because you don't get to do that in real life as a teacher. And sometimes you don't get to do it during the summertime if you have kids. So this time I actually was granted opportunity to sleep in, so I did that. So for that book, I chose one book that hit all 5. And I know usually when they double dip with like maybe one book hitting 2 of the points, but I chose to do one book that hit all 5 points. But here's the thing. I don't remember what the 5th one was. I know it was read a horror book or thriller, These, and I don't even know if these go in the right order. Another point was read a book in the dark or with a flashlight or at nighttime. Read a book that had 5 words in the title. Read a book that took place in the summertime. And I don't remember what the last one was, but that's just me not remembering off the top of my head. I wrote them all down. So as I was eliminating books, I know that this book hit all 5 of them because there were 5 points. And I know this hit all of those. And there was only 5 points because this is the 5th year anniversary. All right. So the book I chose was A Flicker in the Dark. This book came out in 2021, at least on Book of the Month. It was out in 2021. I'm pretty sure it came out in 2021 as well. Let's see. I don't see the copyright. Yeah, 2021. So, yeah, came out in 2021. All right. So, Flicker in the Dark is a great book. I'm trying to remember some of the stuff. Oh, okay. Just came to me. This girl, the main character, I just feel so bad for her. I just feel so bad for her. So much bad things happened to her that when she was finally in a space where she thought she was going to be happy, it just like blew up some more. And the person that she genuinely was happy with and could have been happy with, surrounding events manipulated it to where she started not trusting him anymore and everything fell apart. So if you read the cover or the inside book, it says, when Chloe Davis was 12, 6 teenage girls went missing in her small town, Louisiana. By the end of the summer, her own father had confessed to the crimes and was put away for life, leaving Chloe and the rest of her family to grapple with the truth to try to move forward while dealing with the aftermath. So that's the only part of it I'm going to read because I'm going to talk about the rest of it. So in this book, we find out, yes, her dad is in jail for the rest of his life. And then we find out that what he was in jail for killing these girls, that it's starting to start back up, and they think that there's a copycat killer and that Chloe knows the killer. So in the process of trying to figure out who the killer is, she then starts to not trust the 2 men in her life. Her fiance, soon-to-be husband, and her brother. And then it turns out that, and I'm not going to spoil this, trying to see if the people that are walking by are going to come in here. Okay, I guess not. But she tries to figure out if okay, he just walked past the door. He's on the phone with somebody. I thought they were going to open up the door and come in because the doors aren't locked. But anyway, she finds out that someone close to her, one of the 2 people close to her, end up being the killer. But before you find out, there are so many twists and turns along the way that it is shocking who the person is, and you would not have guessed it. Every time I guessed who I thought the person was gonna be, it changed at the last minute. And it was crazy. So, and there's 3 big turns that will have you being like, well, maybe it's that person, maybe it's that person. And then it wind up being somebody completely not the people I thought they were. So I really like this book for its psychological twists and turns. But like there were portions in it that made me laugh hard because the assumptions that I made to get to who I thought was the killer were the same ones that she made in the book, like the exact same ones. And I would assume them in my head before I actually like would read who it was. And it was just crazy to me. So, but really great book. I do recommend picking this up. But if you are a scary cat when it comes to any type of thrillers, especially like haunted house type thrillers, because haunted houses have that psychological aspect to where it messes with your mind, then this isn't for you. But I recommend it though. Maybe it could be for you. I don't know. All right, but yes, these are the 2 books I read for my challenges: Summerween and Topple. So, yeah, that's all I got for you today. Until next time, bye.